tov u'manaim, free from fear and illness, it is our dream. Shevet achim gam yachad, we ask for healing, Adonai our God. We look around, we know you're there. Grant us comfort, grant us care.
Welcome back to our Yom Kippur afternoon services. We're delighted that you are with us all day long. Through study, through worship, we obtain a sense of community. We begin with one of my favorite songs, Oziv Zimrat Yah. It reminds us that even when times are tough, we derive a measure of strength from our faith and our belief in God. We open up our Machzor to page 326. At this hour, Israel stands as one in prayer. All Jews on earth unite through memory and hope. A people unafraid, unvanquished, says to God, this people you have formed still lives to tell your praise, still lives to share this teaching with our youth. Our ancient journey has not reached its end. The faith implanted at our people's birth is realized from age to age, our sacred covenant. This people, few in number, ventured forth to carve a lonely path through wilderness, to carve a dream of vines and fig trees, justice in the gates, the land at peace. And still, we make our way across the desert. This people you have formed still lives to walk before you.
Exiled once to Babylon, we learned the unity of God. A second time, dispersed by Rome, we learned that humankind is one. Hear, O Israel, the call still sounds. Eternity is ever present in your midst. A heritage of sacred purpose in your heart. Your past tells a story for all peoples. Your future holds a promise still unfolding. At this hour, Israel stands as one in prayer. All Jews on earth unite through memory and hope. We look at one another, and we know who we are. We look to our Creator, and we know our strength. In pursuit of truth, this people lives, to serve the Most High for the sake of life. Behind us, pain and glory, before us, holy work. Timeless words command us, toward eternity we gaze.
We continue with our Torah service on page 328.
Baruch
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarak.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarak Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarak Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
Vayidaber Adonai El Moshe L'amour daber El Kol Adai B'nei Yisrael V'amarta Elohem Kedoshim Tihiyu Ki Kadosh Ani Adonai Elohechem Ish Imo V'aviv Tirahu V'et Shabbatotai Tishmeru Ani Adonai Elohechem Al Tifnu El Ha-Elelim V'Alhei Mitzrahu Lo Ta'asu Lachem Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Amen. V'ki tispachu zeva shalamim l'Adonai letzachem tispachu bayom tzefkachem ye'achor וממחרה ונפתתה עוד יום השלישי באש ישרף בהם העקור יאחר ביום השלישי בגוף Lo Yerayesh.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu et Torah Emet V'chayei Olam Nata V'tochanu Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
Vizat HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe, Vizat HaTorah, Vizat HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe, Vizat HaTorah, Lifnei B'nei Yisrael, Vizat HaTorah, Al Pi Adonai Biad Moshe, Vizat HaTorah, Vizat HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe, Vizat HaTorah, Vizat HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe, Vizat HaTorah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nbiim tovim v'ratza v'tivrei הנאמרים באמת. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בתורה ובמשה עבדו ובישראל עמו ובנביאי האמת בצדק.
Here goes, ready or not, here I come. You can't hide, you can't run. It's been too late for far too long. 1, 2, 3,
And the word of Adonai came to Jonah, son of Amittai. Get up, go to the city of Nineveh and proclaim against it, for their evil deeds have risen up before me. But Jonah got up to flee Tarshish, away from the presence of Adonai. And he went down to Jaffa and found there a shipping vessel headed for Tarshish. And he paid its fare and went down into it to head with them to Tarshish, away from the presence of Adonai. But Adonai hurled a great wind upon the sea, a storm at sea so great that the ship was in danger of being shattered into pieces. The sailors were frightened. They cried out, each to his own god, and flung their ship's cargo into the sea to lighten their load. But Jonah had gone down into the hold in the lower deck of the vessel and laid down and fell into a deep sleep. And the captain approached him and said to him, "What are you doing, sound asleep? Get up, call to your God. Perhaps the God will be kind to us and we will not perish." And they said, each man to his companion, "Let us cast lots, but we might know whose account this evil event has come to us." So they cast lots, and the lot fell on Jonah. And they said to him, "Tell us who you are who have brought this evil upon us. What is your trade? Where have you come from? What is your country? And who are your people?"
And he said to them, "I am in Hebrew. I revere Adonai, God of heaven, who sea and dry land." The men felt great fear, and they asked him, "What have you done?" Because the men knew he was fleeing from Adonai, for so he had told them. And they asked him, "What should we do to you to bring calm to the sea around us?" For the sea was growing more and more stormy. So he said to them, "Lift me up and hold me into the sea, and the sea will calm down for you. For I know that this great storm came upon you because of me." And the crew rowed hard to return to dry land, but they could not do it, for the sea was raging more and more fiercely around them. And they called out to Adonai, saying, "Please, Adonai, please do not let us perish because of the life of this man, and do not hold us guilty of shedding innocent blood. For you, Adonai, that which you desired, you have brought about." And they lifted Jonah and hurled him into the sea. The sea stopped raging. The men revered Adonai. Great was their reverence. So they offered to Adonai a sacrifice and made vows.
Adonai provided a great fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Jonah prayed to Adonai, his God, from the belly of the fish. And he said, "I called to Adonai in my distress, and God answered. I cried out from the belly of the netherworld, and you heard my voice. Into the depths you cast me, into the heart of the sea, and the floods engulfed me. And your billowing, breaking waves swept over me. And I thought to myself, I was banished from before your eyes. Will I ever again gaze upon you your holy temple. The water closed in over me, but deep engulfed me, rushes wrapped around my head. I descended to the low points of the mountains, the gates of the earth closed upon me forever. Yet you, Adonai, my God, raised up my life from the pit.
When my life fainted away, I called Adonai to mind, and my prayer came to you, to your holy temple. They who cling to empty folly forsake their own welfare. But I, with a shout of thanksgiving, I will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will fulfill. Rescue comes from Adonai. Adonai commanded the fish, and it spewed Jonah out upon dry land. Jonah chapter 3. And the word of Adonai came to Jonah a second time. Get up, go to the great city of Nineveh, and call it out to the proclamation that I tell you. So Jonah got up and went to Nineveh according to the word of Adonai. Now Nineveh was a great city of God, 3 days' journey across.
And Jonah started out and made his way into the city, the distance of a 1-day walk. And he called out and said, 40 more days and Nineveh shall be overturned. The people of Nineveh trusted in God, and they proclaimed the fast, and they put on sackcloth from the richest to the poorest. And the word reached the king of Nineveh, and he got up from his throne, took off his robe, and put on sackcloth, and sat in ashes. And he cried out and said in Nineveh, by decree of the king and his nobles, no person or beast, a flock or herd, shall taste anything. They shall not graze, and they shall not drink water. They shall be covered with sackcloth. Person and beast shall call out loudly to God. Let all turn back from their evil ways and from the violence which is in their hands. Who knows? God may turn and relent, turn back from the heat of anger, so that we may not perish. And God saw what they did, and how they were turning back from their evil ways. And God relented from the evil planned for them, and did not carry it out.
But to Jonah, this was a great evil, and it made him angry. So he prayed to Adonai, saying, Please, Adonai, is this not what I said when I was still in my own country? This is why I fled to Tarshish to begin with. For I knew that you are gracious and compassionate, God, endlessly patient and abounding in steadfast love, ready to repent of evil. And now, Adonai, please take my life from me, for it is better for me to die than to live. And Adonai said, Is it good for you to be angry? Then Jonah left the city, found a place east of the city, made himself a shelter there, and sat under it in the shade until he might see what would become of the city. And Adonai Elohim provided a gourd, and made it rise up over Jonah to give shade for his head and rescue him from his evil situation. And Jonah rejoiced with great joy because of the gourd. But at dawn, the next day, God provided a worm that attacked the gourd, and it withered.
And as the sun rose, God provided an oppressive wind for the east, and the sun beat down on Jonah's head, making him faint. He begged for death, saying, It is better for me to die than to live. And God said to Jonah, Are you good and angry about the gourd? And he said, I am good and angry to the point of death. And Adonai said, You pitied the gourd, but you neither worked for nor grew, which appeared overnight and perished overnight. Should I then not have compassion for the great city of Nineveh, a place of more than 120,000 human beings, unable to tell their right hand from their left, and many beasts?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol ha'amim tzaddik b'kol hadorot oel ha'ne'eman ha'omer b'yoseh ha'midaber u'mekayim shekol devarim emet v'tzedek על התורה ועל עבודה ועל הנביאים והיום הזיכרון הזה שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו לכבוד ולתפארת על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד ודברך אמת וקיים לעד ברוך אתה אדוני מלך כל הארץ מקדש ישראל 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 ביום הזיכרון.
We return the Torah to the ark. Please rise.
At this time, we turn our thoughts inward. Personally, I'm thinking about how it's been 6 long months apart and how we can't wait to be together again and experience what was once normal. We turn to this reading as one of our favorites. We encourage you to spend the next few minutes exploring for yourself and finding the words that speak to you.
Let peace grow and increase. Let it shape the lives of all human beings. Let there be nothing but peace, no hatred or jealousy, no victories that bring suffering and loss to people and nations. Only love and peace, strong, profound, and true. We yearn for love that knits us together. We learn for the wisdom of community, shared knowledge, empathy, and trust. May the words that we speak and the meditation of our hearts open pathways of truth and understanding.
Ready.
Page 416, let us rise for the confession.
Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu tavo lefanecha tefilatenu
Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence. And when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong. Together, of these wrongs we are guilty. We betray, we steal, we scorn. We act perversely, we are cruel. We scheme, we are violent, we slander. We devise evil, we lie. We ridicule, we disobey. We abuse, we defy, we corrupt. We commit crimes, we are hostile. We are stubborn, we are immoral, we kill. We spoil, we go astray. We lead others astray. Our turning away from your mitzvot and laws of goodness is a hollow pursuit. You are just concerning all that happens in our lives. Your way is the way of truth, while ours leads to error. What can we say to you whose existence is beyond time and space? What words of ours can reach your realm, beyond the clouds, beyond heaven itself? Every hidden mystery, every revelation, surely you know them all. You know the secrets of the universe and the secrets of the human heart. You know and understand us, for you examine our inner lives. Nothing is concealed from you, nothing hidden from your sight. Eternal One, our God and God of our ancestors, we pray that this be your will. Forgive all our wrongs. Pardon us for every act of injustice. Help us atone for all our moral failures. We continue on page 418 for the Vidui Rabbah, the long confession. For these sins, our God, we ask forgiveness.
אחרי שחטאנו לפניך בזדון ובשגגה, ואחרי שחטאנו לפניך בשבועת שווא.
The ways we have wronged you deliberately and by mistake, and harm we have caused in your world through insincere promises.
אחרי שחטאנו לפניך.
The ways we have wronged you by judging others unfairly, and harm we have caused in your world by making light of serious matters.
אחרי שחטאנו לפניך.
The ways we have wronged you by giving in to our hostile impulses, and harm we have caused in your world through condensation.
אחרי שחטאנו לפניך.
The ways we have wronged you through our innermost thoughts, and harm we have caused in your world through the words of our mouths.
אחרי שחטאנו לפניך.
The ways we have wronged you through lies and deceit, and harm we have caused in your world by mistreating a friend or neighbor.
אחרי שחטאנו לפניך.
The ways we have wronged you by hating without cause, and harm we have caused in your world through hypocrisy.
אחרי שחטאנו לפניך.
For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement.
יא כולם אלוה סליחות, סלח לנו, מחל לנו, כפר לנו, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך.
The ways we have wronged you openly and secretly, and harm we have caused in your world through our thoughtlessness.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך.
The ways we have wronged you by profaning your name in public, and harm we have caused in your world through offensive speech.
ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך.
The ways we have wronged you through gossip and rumor, and harm we have caused in your world through disrespect to parents and teachers.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך.
The ways we have wronged you through narrow-mindedness and harm we have caused in your world through dishonesty in business.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך.
The ways we have wronged you through sexual immorality and harm we have caused in your world through consumption of food and drink.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך.
The ways we have wronged you by betraying trust and harm we have caused in your world through impulsive acts of malice.
ועל כולם אלו הסליחות, סלח לנו, מחל לנו, כפר לנו. ועל כולם אלו הסליחות, סלח לנו, מחל לנו, סלח לנו, מחל לנו, כפר לנו.
For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement. Continue on page 427.
Please rise.
Avinu Malkeinu, we join generations of Jews who have sought your compassion. Shekhinah Imenu, nurturing presence, Makor Bivakeinu, source of insight and understanding, Tzur Chayenu, unweathered stone, steadying strength beneath us, Yidni Nafshokenu, intimate soul companion. Chanenu Ba'anenu, we open to you in self-examination. Grace us and answer us, be present with us and inspire us, accompany us, assure us we are not alone.
Ki'ein banu ma'asim, we approach you empty-handed. Our accomplishments set aside, rather than defend ourselves, we confess we are brokenhearted at our failures, and our world remains unrepaired. Aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed, embrace us generously as we expose our errors. Be our example. Hold us with abundant love. Turn us to face the world with justice and compassion. V'hoshienu, save us. We join our strength to yours as we offer ourselves fully to life ahead.
Do it? Okay, here we go.
Continue on page 430. Aleinu, ours the duty to listen, and ours the duty to praise. Ours is the duty to respond to what we hear, to raise questions and build houses of study in which to ask them, to praise the Creator for creating, to praise the Creator for rest, to praise the God of Torah for the challenge of Torah, to praise the God of eternity for every hour, every day, to plant and build, to seek peace and pursue it. Ours the duty to do justice, ours the duty to be Israel, to fix the broken, to open doors of hope, to bow before a commanding power that speaks to us from Sinai, from history, from deep within the heart. Hear, O Israel, it is not your duty to complete the work, but you may not turn away. So our afternoon service nears a close. Again, special thank you to Ricky, our accompanist, to Dell, our shamus. Our final prayer is on page 436. At the conclusion of our service, we hope that you'll take the opportunity to study with Rabbi Olshine. She leads 2 more adult ed study classes until it becomes time for our healing service, Ne'ilah, and our Havdalah. So we hope that you'll partake of all of these offerings for the rest of the day. 436, a final prayer, a final thought to end this service. It is written, know before whom you stand, but in truth, we do not know. Perhaps we stand before our history, a chronicle of stubbornness, quiet heroism, and the will to live. Perhaps it is the memory of those who struggled to be human in a world that was dark and cold. Perhaps it is Torah that summons us to rise, the golden chain of tradition, a reverence for learning, permission to question and doubt. Perhaps we stand before ideals that call us to do justice, to love kindness, to walk humbly on this earth. Perhaps it is awe at the kinship of all that live, or the unknowable, unnameable mystery that brought us here. We stand together, seekers, doubters, and those who are firm in their faith. And this we know, the day is short, the work immense, the laborers are reluctant, the reward is great, and the need is urgent. Good Jontif, everyone.